What is up, you guys? This is the White Rabbit, and welcome to our now yearly end of the year tier list video. So this past year, I have done 24 PlayStation games, 24 Xbox games, 5 Nintendo games, 6 PC games, all totaling up to 59 games in total. And what I shall be doing is I shall be ranking each one on a lovely tier list, and we will see where they all rank for this year. So first up, we have Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 2. This was a game I was not familiar with. I am not familiar with any of the Naruto games, so why not start with the sequel, because sequels are, inherently worse than the original. But this one was a bit interesting. The whole different kind of stories that were going on between Naruto and Sasuke, I found very interesting, and I want to play the first one just so I can kind of connect the dots that are kind of missing. But, and it's my own fault for this, I'm gonna give Naruto an A tier. Solely because it's on me. I didn't understand the story, so that's on me. Next up, we have Medal of Honor. This game I kind of played because Call of Duty is kind of everywhere, and I wanted to branch out, see the different games that were out, and I found Medal of Honor. Was it as good as a Call of Duty game? Yeah. yes it was. This would have been the remake, I think. I don't entirely remember. But this one, I would say also an A tier, because it had an amazing story, and I highly suggest it. Next, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Tag Force 2. This, I'm actually going to give a B. Oh god, if my mouse will stop freaking out. I'm going to give a B tier, because it's a port of a PS2 game. No. That's a different Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. That was Tag Force 2. That was... What was that one? Right, of course, Tag Tournament. Yeah, I'm still going to give it a B tier because it solely depends on you being able to have synergy with a tag partner, which makes it a whole lot more difficult and kind of makes it to where you can't really play the cards that you want, because you end up essentially having to copy your tag team partner's cards in order to have any sort of strategy. Next up, we have Ghost Rider, which I found to be a fun game. I'm going to give it a C tier, though. I'm going to give it a C tier solely because, it's essentially a God of War clone. It's a God of War clone with a Ghost Rider skin, and it was a good story, don't get me wrong. It was confusing as heck, because it takes place in between gaps of the movie, and I just didn't understand it. It was a good game still. So, moving on to Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. I'm gonna give this I'm gonna say I'll say an A. I'll say A. It was a good game. This one was a good game, being the first Pokemon game I've finished, or at least finished the main story for, because I know some of my friends were telling me I didn't do the Elite Four or anything after the main story. I don't see the point. But of what I played, it was an amazing game. I caught Dialga, and he was a boss. Essentially, it was. And the story was interesting, but I don't know. It kind of falls into the whole Dragon Ball thing, which I'll talk about later because we do have a Dragon Ball game on here. So, moving on, we're going to go Mortal Kombat Armageddon. I'll say C. Mortal Kombat, after a while, after playing it for a while, does kind of get repetitive. It's essentially all repetitive for Mortal Kombat because it's just a fighting game. It's just a fighting game that has somewhat interesting little stories. And my mouse is freaking out again. I don't like when my mouse freaks out. I need a new mouse. Harry Potter in the Chamber of Secrets. This I'll actually give a D tier. Actually, you know what? No, that's not what I said. We're changing that to F. D is now F. So Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets will have an F tier, at least for me, because good lord, I could not finish this game. I couldn't get into the game. Firstly, I couldn't get into the game's story. I couldn't really just deal with any of it. I couldn't. But that's just for me. That's just me. Trading card game Card Shop Simulator, or TCG Card Shop Simulator. I'm gonna give a B tier, solely because like halfway through of my playthrough, one of my friends goes, "So how does it feel getting off of work, coming home, and then doing more work?" And that's essentially what it was. It was me trading work for more work. Moving on to Model Builder. This I'll give an A tier because it's a nice, calming game. It was very calming. It was, a stress reliever because I've started Warhammer. I don't know if I'll ever show any of my Warhammer, but I started Warhammer. Do I actually have? I don't have one near me. But yeah, it's a fun time. It's calm. It's relaxing. It's something you don't really have to think about. So I'm happy with that. Moving on to Super Dragon Ball card game Fusion World. That's a long title, and I'm gonna give it an F because I didn't. For card games, it was kind of basic. It was very basic. I don't know. I like Dragon Ball, I do, but card game is not its style. Card game is not its strong suit. Outlast. Outlast, I'm gonna give a high A tier, above Naruto, above Medal of Honor, above Pokemon and Model Builder. It was a good experience. It was scary, don't get me wrong. And good lord, for a game that broke my PS4, essentially, I am glad I came back and finished it. I'm so glad I came back and finished it, along with another game that will be talked about later. But I'm so glad I finished Outlast. I'm so glad. And I can't wait to play the other two games. What was it? Outlast Whistleblower and then Outlast 2. I don't know if I'll do the Outlast Trials. I'm not sure. Next up, we have Teen Titans, which I'm just going to throw in the S tier. I've had that game since I was a child, since I was a wee little lad, and it still holds up to me. To me, it still holds up, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love the whole idea that they're trapped in a game that they don't know, or that they don't know they're trapped in a game. So whenever they find out 6 weeks are missing, and it then spirals their whole timeline and kind of makes them question everything. which I'm very happy that that's the way the story went. And the end credit scene, if you haven't seen it, go watch my series on it. It is funny. It is very Teen Titans. This is original Teen Titans, by the way, not Teen Titans Go. This is the good one. Oh, but it was an experience. Moving on to Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I'm gonna give a C tier. I don't think any Dragon Ball game will be super high on my tier list because they just follow the same story. They just follow the same exact story for Dragon Ball Z. And not saying that's a bad thing, but come on, you can only do the same story so many times. Moving on to Diablo 3. Diablo 3 is not going to be a C tier, but my mouse is not cooperating. Diablo 3 is going to be an A tier. It was a fascinating game. Diablo 3 is one of those... I've heard a whole lot of praise about Diablo. Don't get me wrong. As most people have. Most people have heard a lot about Diablo 3. Not that a lot of people have gotten me wrong. Anyway. When I played it, I... did not realize I had the Ultimate Evil Edition. So, bonus to me. But I was unaware how much fun I would have with it. I kind of want to go back and see if I can figure out a way to play the first 2 games. And I also eventually want to play Diablo 4. But that's a whole separate thing. That's a whole separate thing we'll get into later. Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga. We're going to go with a B tier. It's a Lego game. It makes funny of the whole saga, but you know, it's a Lego game. So it's grindy. It's funny, but grindy. Next we have AEW Fight Forever. I kind of have to give an A tier solely because of Brody Lee. Brody Lee is in the game. I was almost in the Dark Order, and it's one of those things. They acknowledge that if different things had happened in the game, you would have gotten a different story. And Brody Lee even says, perhaps in another universe, we could have been friends. And I love that. I love the whole thing of them acknowledging that there's other outcomes. Family Guy Back to the Multiverse. I have to give a C tier. It was an alright game. The premise is there for going through the multiverses. They could have done more with it. I'm giving it a C tier. It would have been a B tier if it wasn't for the fact the dang tank with Adam West kept getting stuck behind the fence, so I couldn't attack it. And I just couldn't continue the game. I actually could not. Moving on, Final Fantasy 13. I'm also gonna give a C tier. Final Fantasy isn't for me. I'm slowly learning that. Final Fantasy, at least this one is not for me. So I may play other Final Fantasy games later. I'm not entirely sure if I will, but this one was not for me. Escape Dead Island. I'm gonna give a B. It was fascinating having a third-person point of view of it, and seeing this just arrogant guy wash up onto this island full of zombies and researchers and people with guns, and kind of have to find a way to survive everything, and then find out everything's just a hallucination in your mind. And one part I really hated was the ending. Because it's not actually an ending. It's kind of like a restart. It just continues the cycle. because where it ends, the game actually begins. So it just goes around over and over and over again. I guess it's a good concept, but at the same time, just annoying to me. I did not hit you, mouse wheel. Anyway, Star Wars: The Old Republic. I'm gonna give an A tier. It is fascinating. For the first MMO I played, it was very good. I wish I would have finished it. And maybe I will at some point in the future. It won't be on another tier list, but maybe I will finish it at some point in the future. I just couldn't bring myself to finish it this time. But I really want to. It's a good game, and I want to finish my Sith run. But that'll be for a different time. Clive Barker's Jericho. I'm gonna give a B tier because it wasn't scary. I was brought into the game thinking it was gonna be super scary. It was gonna be messing up the mind. It was essentially fear. Not the good fears. The one where it's mainly action. Less scary, more action. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know. It had its moments, but at the same time, it's not what I expected, and that slightly made me disappointed. Halo 3. Halo 3, I'm actually going to give an A tier. Being the first Halo game I've ever actually completed, it was really good. And I really want to play the other Halo games. I don't know when I'll play them, but I really want to. Fallout 4. This game. Where am I going to put you? Fallout 4, I'll put an A. I didn't finish it. Because issues arose and it was a while between recordings and I figured it was far too late to actually go back and play it. So, yeah, sorry. Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. I'm gonna give an S tier. Seeing the different games, the 4 different stories that I had to go through, it was Ultimate 2099 Noir and Spectacular, I think. Seeing those 4 different stories was amazing to me because they all had to work together to fight one enemy and, you know, fix all the dimensional rifts. That's such a cool concept to me. But ultimately, I like the Ultimate Universe because Symbiote Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man to me. Schedule 1, I'm gonna give a C tier. Solely because originally I liked the concept. Originally, I found the idea interesting. Can I move my microphone down a bit? I don't know if that'll help. Originally, I liked the concept a little bit, but as I kept playing, I found myself not liking the idea more and more of it. But that's just me. Peter Jackson's King Kong. You are going into B tier. It would have been A, but dang Jimmy getting stuck at the very end when we're on the brink of getting onto the plane, breaking the game, mind you, just ruined it for me. Ruined. I apologize. DC Dark Legion. Another game I didn't finish. I'm going to give a C tier. It's one of those games, it's a point and click game, essentially. You don't really do a whole lot. You level up heroes, villains, whatever, mind you. And that's fun for like 2 episodes, maybe. After a while, I kind of just got bored of the game, and even in my free time, I stopped playing it. Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. You are going into A tier. Why do you keep moving? How do I lock it? Can I just lock my screen to where it doesn't move? Anyway, Guardians of the Galaxy was a really good game. I really loved the costumes that you could get. I loved the costumes. The story was also amazing. The idea that you had to keep wondering, I don't think they ever confirmed it, if the dang little girl was Peter's or not. It's such a good game. Play it if you can. Play it. Play it. The Incredible Hulk. I'm going to give a B tier. I will also give a B tier to The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction, which we also played. Both games were fun. Both games were interesting. Incredible Hulk. I want to say that's the one where I had to destroy basically the whole city and get an achievement for that. Or I had to destroy every building in one sector of the city. Something like that. Which I did, which I found fascinating, that I had to do as the Hulk. But, I don't know. Ultimate Destruction, I got massively upset with. Solely because it didn't really tell me, you know, certain aspects of the game. But, yeah. Moving on to Hogwarts Legacy. I'm going to give you an A tier. I'm going to give you an A tier. I didn't finish you. I really should have. But I started recording the game immediately after I had done all the collectibles for my first playthrough. I probably shouldn't have done that. I should have done a whole separate thing. I should have just... I should have just waited. I should have waited for it. But I didn't. And I'm sorry. Pokemon Colosseum. I am not a fan of this, so I'll give you a C. It's Pokemon, so I kind of like it. But it gets a C because it's not exactly the Pokemon I like. I prefer stuff like Brilliant Diamond and stuff like that because it's traditional. Spider-Man Edge of Time. Also an S tier. Edge of Time. It's, I believe, the sequel to Shattered Dimensions, but focuses primarily on the Spectacular and 2099, where a rift has happened between the two, and they kind of have to work together in order to stop that rift from imploding and destroying everything. Which I love. I love Spider-Man games. I really do. You'll be hard-pressed to find a Spider-Man game I don't like. Alone in the Dark, you go into F tier. I'm sorry. That's just the long and short of it. Alice Madness Returns. You're going into the B tier. And that primarily is my fault as well, because I believe I picked the hardest difficulty. And the fact that there's no save point for like an hour between the two, or for like 30 minutes to an hour. It falls into the same issue that Saw had, where it's too long in between saves, at least for my life. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. You are going into B tier. It was a good game. It had its flaws. I didn't like the idea that Jack just had these supernatural powers where he could stab into the ground and then instantly destroy people, taking their souls. It just wasn't it for me. It was not it for me. Assassin's Creed 3. I'm also going to give you a B tier. I love the Assassin's Creed series. Maybe I'll come back and actually finish it. But for what it was, at least for the time when I played it, it was not for me. The story is fascinating. The idea of this guy running around firstly, you don't even play as the main guy you play as until like an hour or so into the game, which I found very bizarre. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. Then once you do play as the guy, you play as him as a kid and watches an entire village burn down. And that is messed up. Moving on, Scooby-Doo, Night of 100 Frights. You're gonna go in B tier as well. Only because I have found that I don't like when I'm not given direction. I don't like when I'm not kind of told where to go. And having to kind of figure it out on my own, I did not like. I did not like that at all. Lego Batman 2, right? 2? Is this 2? I don't remember. Yes, Lego Batman 2 DC Superheroes. This gets an A tier for me because it had its own original story. It had its own original story, so it goes above Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga, because Star Wars Complete Saga just followed the movies. Lego Batman had its own thing, had its own special stories. I believe this one was before they did the voice acting, so it just was stuff like that, and that was fun. SpongeBob Hero Pants, you go into C tier. Not because he's in the sea. Stop that. Because it was grindy to me. The story was there. I did not like how they extended upon it to where more than one page is missing. If it was a movie tie-in game, that would have been fine with me. But they extended it to a ridiculous degree. The darkness. Stop moving, screen. I'm going to give a B tier. Because, again, the premise is there. The premise is there. The idea, the guy was gunned down. He got the opportunity to come back with supernatural powers, mind you. And kind of put wrongs right. Reminded me too much of The Crow. Which I have heard that they made a game of The Crow. Not of the original one with Brandon Lee, of the sequel. I will never be playing that game. Moving on. Condemned. Condemned Criminal Origin. I'm gonna put at B with The Darkness. This one is my fault because, again, I picked a hard difficulty. Excuses. Yeah, I again, maybe a game I'll come back to. I'm not sure. Marvel Nemesis: Rise of the Imperfects. This game fascinated me because the idea that an alien had come to Earth, or no, the idea that essentially they were making more evil versions of villains, superheroes, stuff like that, was fascinating. And then you had to fight them. And I'm vastly upset because I finished the game, but when I finished it, a dang storm was happening, so my electricity blipped out and it corrupted the recording. So I never actually got, I didn't get the gameplay out, is what I'm trying to say. Skylanders Spyro Adventure. I'm going to give a B tier. This was at a time where I thought I had an interesting premise in my head of hunting down all the Skylanders. I have since stopped that ridiculous idea. Because playing a game shouldn't beckon on the idea of collecting everything. It should beckon on the idea of playing the game, not collecting tiny figures. Star Wars The Force Unleashed. I'm gonna give a B tier. This It's a fun game. It falls under the same problem with Fallout 4. To me, it was too far in between recordings to continue the game. So I kind of just didn't. The Simpsons game. I'm going to give an A tier. I love the game. I love the idea that they kind of figured out they were in a game. And they used cheat codes, essentially, to be better at their own game. Jimmy Neutron. The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, Attack of the Twonkies. I had to look at my little cheat sheet to get the name. I'm going to give a B tier. One of the games I never beat as a child, but I beat it. And it was kind of not worth it. It was a fun game. I just that dang park level where I had to throw the electric containers at the Twonky that was in the cloud. Kind of like an angry Mario villain. Castlevania Lord of Shadows. You are gonna get a B tier where I can barely see you. This one was my fault because I picked a very hard difficulty and it made me not want to play it. So I kind of stopped. When it comes to the sequel, I may play it. I haven't decided yet. Green Lantern, Rise of the Manhunters. F. CSI, Hard Evidence. You're gonna go and see. Because they're point and click games. They're interesting. I just hated that you had to be at precise angles to find the certain evidence, which is understandable. Kind of how, CSI have to be. SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. I'm giving an A. I'm giving a high A. I'm putting it above Outlast. I love the SmackDown vs. Raw series. All SVR games. You cannot convince me otherwise. All SVR games are going to be high A's. I have yet to find one that I don't like. I am still in the middle of... Is it the original SmackDown vs. Raw? Hang on, I have my games right here. SmackDown vs. Raw 06. So we have not yet played the original SmackDown vs. Raw. But 06 is amazing. I hate that I ran down Teddy Long, though. But that's neither here nor there. Ultimate Spider-Man. S tier. S. Not for Spider-Man, but because it's an amazing game. And I hate that you don't get to play as the symbiote suit, but you get to play as Venom. And that's what makes up for it. Being able to play the different contrasting Venom and Spider-Man, seeing how the story unfolds is amazing. And I just love it. I love it. Megamind Ultimate Showdown. You are going with an A. Mouse, if you want to not mess up. Don't backsass me, Mouse. It's getting an A tier. I did like the idea of it showing the life of Megamind after. And I kind of liked seeing him be the hero. I did. God of War 1. A tier. I'm putting you above Megamind, actually. Because I feel like that's a right spot. Above Megamind. It's amazing. The God of War series so far has been amazing. I cannot wait to finish 2, because then I have... No, I finished... Did I finish 2? Am I still playing 2? Excuse me for a moment. I need to consult. I finished 2, didn't I? Because I'm playing, what, Chains of Olympus now? Yeah, I'm playing Chains of Olympus. I'm feeling stupid right now. Because, I swear, I don't think I put God of War 2 on here. Anyway, it'll go in the same spot. It'll also be an A tier. Both the games were amazing. And I love them to bits. I can't wait to finish Chains of Olympus. Because after that, I believe... I actually don't know what's after that. But that'll be half the fun. Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monster Coliseum. You're going in B. And this mouse will be going in the trash. But Capsule Monster Coliseum is not Yu-Gi-Oh! To me. It is not. Borderlands 4. A tier. You're going above Megamind but below God of War. It's a good game. It's a good game. I love what they did with it. It's not Borderlands 2. It is not. It's a really good game, but it's hard to capture the magic of Borderlands 2. That's the issue. Slender the Arrival. You're going in A tier. Same, right next to Outlast. Both games took me forever to actually beat. Slender was actually one of the first games I just rage quit. I think it's the only game I actually have rage quit. On camera, I rage quit the game. And I'm really glad I came back to finish it. The ending I don't understand, but I'm really glad I finished it. Magic the Gathering Battlegrounds is getting a B tier. This was not my fault. This was the game, or specifically the condition of the game. When I got it, I thought it was working fine, but it kind of crapped out on it. Same with Over the Hedge. Over the Hedge is also getting a B. Both good games, both the disc just could not hold up to time. Time is a fickle mistress. But, you know. So that's all the games. That's all the games from 2025. And, you know, this is my tier list of them. I really want to do more games. I want to do more games. I want to try and beat my record of 59. Because I don't know what my record was last year. But, you know, maybe we'll beat it, maybe we won't. But, I'm going to leave this one here. So thank you guys so much for watching this one. If you liked it, you know what to do. And if you agree with my tier list, great. If you don't, let me know in the comments. But, keep things crazy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.